Now the procedure from here is pretty much the same thing how we started off with our 1000 grit. You want to get the whole panel wet. You want to make sure there's no contaminants on it. Think that's overkill? The same thing. You're just going to want to go left to right, up and down. No circle sanding. Okay, now we're done with our 1500, and now it's time to move on to our 2000. Now I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but we're almost starting to see a reflection here. I believe in a lot of opinions of quite a few people that 2000 and above, now you're starting to buff. And that's what we're doing here. Starting to buff. Okay. I just finished 2000. I wanted to show you guys the finish on this door. You can kind of already see there's starting to be a reflection there again. But if you notice, there's no shiny speckles, there's no, well, there's none of that. I have to come back and get that. But for the most part, all over the door, oh, there's another one, okay. All over the door, you can see that for the most part, it is all solid, one uniform color. This is what you want. Assuming you're buffing for a show finish. Then if you're going to try and match factory finish, you'll leave some of the orange peel in there, but that's another day and another story. Now, if you've got a rotary buffer, you can stop at 2000 and buff. However, I don't suggest that. I suggest, even if you do have a rotary buffer, go up higher. Go at least 3000, maybe even 4000 if you can find it, from some red Merca pads. But again, different video set. For now, all I have is 2500, so we're going to take it up to that, and then we're going to start buffing from there. When you take the finish down to 2500 or 3000 preferably at the least, or 4000, what you're going to do is you're actually going to start polishing the surface. That way you can save money on this stuff, and it's going to take you a lot less time to bring the shine back. Alright, time for our final grade of paper that we have here today, which is 2500. It's looking good. Okay, now I'm pretty sure this is the part everybody's wanting to see. This is going to be your first initial cut with your rubbing compound, your Meguiar's 105, or they call it ultra cut compound. It's basically rubbing compound. Okay, so what you want to do with this stuff is get yourself a coarse rag, something with fibers like that. And with the rubbing compound, you want to shake it up just to make sure that if something did settle at the bottom of the bottle, now it's going to remix into the rest of the compound. Alright, now all we're going to do is just take and probably put about a dime size of this stuff. Doesn't take a whole lot. Something like that. Get your towel, kind of dab it just a little bit, start working it in. When the compound starts to go away, add a little bit more. Now we're going to wipe it off with the dry side of our rag and give that a look. We can see just from our rubbing compound how quickly that shine came back. I'm not sure how well you can see it because that light is kind of in a weird spot. So you can clearly see the top of my garage. And there's me. Now if you go back to the first video and you look at the finish, you can see that this is a lot more high definition, for lack of a better term. So let me buff out the rest of this section here and we'll take a look at it. So here's the first section that I did. With a little bit of elbow grease, you can get that thing to shine real quick. And you can see just by looking up at the top end of my garage in the light, it's a lot more defined and a lot more, oh, what's the term that they use? Distinctness of image. There's quite a bit more in this. And then of course I dropped something and landed on the door. Okay, so here's the door from the first step of rubbing compound. And if you remember that shot from before, this is a lot more defined. One thing I did forget to mention, whatever rubbing compound you're using, oh come on, focus. Make sure you can apply it by hand. I've seen some compounds that say only rotary polisher. This stuff you can use it by hand. So you want to make sure and take a look at the label before you go out and commit to buying any certain product. Okay, so here we are after our first stage of rubbing compound on the whole door. This particular paint has a lot of glitter in it, as you can see, and it looks really, really nice. Now, on camera, it looks pretty darn good, but in person, if you look at it at certain angles, you can, there's a good shot. Right there, there are some scratches from our coarse rag. What we're going to do now is switch to a terry cloth and our 205 finishing polish. Now, we're going to apply it just the same way. The nozzle's a little plugged up. Alright, hang on there a second. We'll just do this one little section and see if we can see a difference. So here's our area with just the rubbing compound on the coarse hand towel, I'm sorry. And then here is our side with the 205 finishing polish. There is a slight difference. This has a little bit more gloss, and this is shiny still, but you can still kind of see scratches in it. And this one, the scratches are kind of gone. So let me finish this one out and then we'll take a look at it. One thing I would like to mention is that by me showing you this stuff, it's not the only way to go about doing this. There are many different guys out there who have many different techniques. I am just throwing my stuff into the mix and hoping I can help out someone, as some other guys' videos have helped me. And that's that. Alright, boys and girls, we are finally at the end of our journey. This is done with 2 sessions of Meguiar's 205 Ultra Finishing Polish. And man, it's looking good. Here's our tripod shot again. You can distinctly see it. It's got high DOI, as the pros like to say. Come over here. You can even see what I've got on my top shelf. It looks good, man. To remind everyone of what we used, and to those who are just now tuning in, it is the U-Pole Clear and a House of Color lapis. I'd love to learn how to pronounce that. It's blue, And if you can't get a hold of the U-Pull clear, or if you don't want to use this one, they do make a 2K clear now in a spray can from Eastwood. They have like a little button on top. You push it down here and it pops a membrane, and now you have some sprayable 2K in a can. But I like the U-Pull stuff, and I'll stick with this for now. What to do from here after you get to this point, guys? What you want to do is use a cleaner wax. Go over the entire piece that you're working on, make sure it's nice and defect free. And then you want to use a breathable wax. Now what I mean by breathable wax is any type of carnauba will work just fine. I think a couple companies might even sell something that says breathable wax on it. For the first 2 months, you want to stay away from using a synthetic wax, because what's going to happen is that even though I just buffed and polished this, it's still outgassing. So if you put a wax that seals something from something underneath outgassing, well, that's a lot of somethings, isn't it? You're going to trap it, and you could possibly make it go flat or discolor it or just have some funky stuff happen. Personally, I haven't had it happen to me yet, so that's just what I've been told, that's what I've been reading about, and that's what I've seen a couple pictures on. But there you go, man. If you follow my video series on how to paint a car using spray cans, which I will post in the description down below, and how to cut and buff, you can pretty much achieve something like this. Alright guys, thanks for checking out my videos. Thanks for subscribing, and if you haven't subscribed, do hit that button. Also, check me out on Instagram, Twitter, Google+, and Facebook. Anyways guys, thanks for watching. As always, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you next time.